Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Thrive Yoga Fit Transformational Coaching. This is Erin. So, I am continuing my exploration of the chakras, and today I am at Vishuddha. Vishuddha is the throat chakra, and this is our space of being able to speak our truth. It's also our space of courage. So, if we've been used to stuffing down our feelings, and not expressing them, then this area a lot of times is blocked. We'll have things like neck pain, sore throats, swollen glands, things like that. But we'll also lack the courage to speak up. Why? Because you get good at what you practice. So if you're used to holding things in, you get good at that, right? Just like you get good at chaturanga from showing up to your mat and actually doing chaturanga. So, or working on the muscles that would help you do that action of doing the reverse yogi push up and integrating your shoulders and everything so it feels good in your body. So, there's a skillful way of integrating your truth, grounding it in love, and then being able to speak from that space. So, that's one of the reasons why I've worked from the base up with the chakras, which is a lot of times how it's taught, because you need to have a sense of safety and stability before you start getting creative, right? Before you start expressing that aspect of you. And then from there, you gain confidence, which is the third chakra. You're able to kind of digest life and kind of like, okay, I can handle this. And then going up into unconditional love. Now I'm ready to love. I'm ready to open up. I'm ready to like fully accept. And then I'm ready to speak my truth. So speaking truth has to first be grounded in Ahimsa. Ahimsa is non-harm. It's like love and reverence for all living things. So when we get into this Vishuddha, this throat chakra, it is about integrating all the chakras beforehand. So if you haven't listened to the other podcast, you might consider, or if you're just learning about the chakras, there's great books out there. Like I think there's the wheels, the Wheel of Chakras is a good one. And there's a couple of other books that are out there about chakras, so many. So, or you can look up a YouTube video. But the best education that you can get is probably going inward and just connecting with each one of these chakras. So, as I mentioned in my first podcast, they all have a sound, they all have a color, they all have a sort of association of emotional expression with each one. And they also have an association of, some kind of pain if there's stagnancy in this area. So, the chakras are subtle energy sort of vortexes, discs, centers. And there's actually ganglion nerve complexes as well as glands associated with pretty much all of them, except for maybe the crown one, which is kind of like our connection to source. So, um, so the sound for Vishuddha is hum. The color is a sort of radiant blue that can, if you're trying to open up this area, can kind of like imagine it blasting off. My boyfriend and I just watched this movie called The Shark Whisperer. I don't know if you've seen it. And I know there's some controversy. Her name is Ocean Ramsey, and she goes up and she's basically learned how to swim with sharks. Like she has kind of implemented this method to where she doesn't get eaten. And besides that, she can actually swim with them. She can pet their snoot. And it's, even if you don't agree with her methods, it's visually stunning. So like that color, like a deep blue of the ocean. When your throat chakra is open, you speak with clarity, authenticity, confidence. When it's blocked, though, we struggle with fear of judgment, dishonesty, or difficulty articulating what is within. Why? Again, because if we've been used to stuffing things down, your nervous system almost like gets used to that feeling, and like expressing it feels unsafe because you've been used to stuffing it down. So holding on to things like fear and anxiety or anger, bottling it up because that was what we thought was safe at the time, or maybe that it was a way for us to stabilize ourselves, was to push it down. The problem with that is that when we get older, like this energy needs somewhere to go. And so it will manifest in different ways. Again, I mentioned like sore throats, neck pain, thyroid disorders, um, and then in a basic way, like not being able to communicate in our relationships, which is a huge deal because that can be a relationship ender if you don't learn how to verbalize. So, as you can see, the throat chakra is pretty important, and it's, something that we want to make sure that we're working on. So, the sound that's associated with the throat chakra is hum. Hum. It's written as ham, but it's not ham, it's hum. Hum. And if we can take a moment to breathe, the bija, or the sort of like japa for this, is you can do 108 of these, but we'll just do a couple. If you inhale and exhale, and try to think of that color blue, blue like the ocean. And then just repeat hum, 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 hum. This sound has a certain frequency that purifies like whatever like air that you're breathing in, and like it purifies within. So one of our niyamas is shaucha. Shaucha is purity, purity of thought, purity of vibration, purity of intention. And so by chanting the bija mantra hum over and over again, we start to like clear out any over intertwinement with the ego, which would sort of make things unpure, so to speak. But it really depends on intention, because everybody has an ego and you have to learn how to live with it. So I don't care who you are. Um, when you can kind of open up this area, and I've worked with people to do this, it's very important. Like all the chakras are important, but having a connection to the heart is super important so that you can speak from the heart, because there's a different quality and vibration when you speak from the heart versus the head. And so getting grounded in the heart and then speaking your truth is super important. And of course, remembering to do it from a space of ahimsa. Some other activities that you can do, makes a lot of sense. Sing, chant, hum, like yawn, like stretch out these muscles. There's a mantra, it's called the Gayatri Mantra, and it's touted as one of the oldest mantras from the Rig Veda. And it goes Om Bhuvar Bhuvaha Swaha Tat Savitur Varanyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Diyo Yonaha Prachodayat. So that's a mantra that you can also use to open up this throat chakra. So play with this. See if it's something that resonates with you. And I know that all the episodes on the chakras have been a little bit different, just sort of my perspective. Another thing that you could do is to just like be mindful with how you're speaking as far as opening up the chakras. So, take a few deep breaths and sort of like drop into yourself and see if when you speak, if it can be from a space of kindness, from love, from also like, is it necessary? Because a lot of times we're talking like it's possible for your throat chakra to be too open, and then you're saying too much, which is not great. So being able to like kind of hone it in. And I got coached actually by a tantric coach yesterday. We were doing a little tradesies, and have learned to be a very direct person. So, but I try to do so with some elegance and grace. But what I'm learning is to like hold the intention sometimes in my throat, and to kind of like let that energy expand until I'm like embodying the feeling and vibration I want, and then speaking from that space is kind of expressing from a divine feminine space. So, sort of toning down the masculine, because I think that my journey with communication, as far as expressing my emotions and my heart, it's still kind of like a spear, which a lot of people appreciate because it's more common to hold in what you want to say than to express it. But there's also a sort of embodiment, a feminine embodiment that can happen where you can express and even directly, but like also with energetics and from an open heart, and sort of adopting the vibration before speaking, if that makes sense, so that when you speak, you manifest. So I think that's the last thing I want to talk about here. It just kept like coming to me. So yeah, a couple of things. One, we are going to Japan in November. If you feel called, onegaishimasu, ikimashou. Let's go to Japan together. We're going to Osaka. I used to live there. Then we're going to Kyoto, Nara. Then we're going to an onsen town. I'm forgetting the name right now. Then we're going to Hiroshima, Miyajima, and then back around to Osaka. So it's a well-rounded trip, and we have like some city time, we have some country time, we have some pet the baby deer time, we have some see the monkeys, we have tea ceremony, we have seeing Japanese art, and just like exploring the beauty of Japan, speaking some of the language. So if you're interested, reach out to me, Erin at erincoach.com. You can go to our website, thriveyogafit.com or thrivewitherin.com to check out some of the details. I have a whole itinerary planned, and I hope that you'll come join us. Pretty exciting trip that I have planned. So, and we have Coach School coming up in January, and we have our signature 200 and 300 hour yoga teacher training that you can actually have people that fly in all the time to do these kind of trainings. So if you're interested in that, next year we're going to Thailand. So if you sign up for one or both of the courses, you get 50% off if you do Coach School, 25% off if you do YTT off of Thailand. So I think that's it. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and namaste.